Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to talk about the stock market next week, which is going to go absolutely crazy because there's so many companies reporting earnings next week. Yeah, it's going to be a very busy week, and as an investor, these are my favourite weeks as an investor because you either have companies that make you a lot of money, or you'll have some stocks that might go down on these earnings, and you'll actually have some good opportunities to buy great companies on dips, or even companies you own on dips, which is going to be great. So we're going to go through all that. It is going to be a very busy week, and like I say, it's probably the busiest week as an investor as we enter the peak of earnings seasons next week. Before we go on to that, if you could smash the like button, if you are new, subscribe. Just to let you know, on the Patreon, the link is in the description if you want to join. On the Patreon, we did a live stream the other day talking about skills, which was 30 minutes long as well with a Q&A. And yeah, we did that, so there's some exclusive content on there if you want to join. Link is in the description. We currently have 605 members on there, so thank you so much for all you guys that are on there. And if you do want to start investing, there's some links to some brokers as well in the description. But anyway, we'll get stuck on to next week that's coming up, and all the earnings that are coming up. And like I said, it's absolutely crazy. You'll at least have one company I expect to report an earnings, maybe even more than that, maybe even one every day. But yeah, obviously we'll start with Monday. And I think the one that everyone kind of like looked at straight away is Tesla. Tesla are reporting earnings on Monday. Obviously, what we know is we had the Q1 deliveries come out, and the Q1 deliveries were fantastic. I think like the expectations, were blown out of the water. So it seems like Tesla on Monday should really have. I mean, it'd be really surprising if revenue doesn't, meet analyst expectations, because we look at the deliveries and think, well, they've got the sales coming in. So if they've got the sales coming in from the delivery side of it, revenue must be met unless the other little parts of the companies don't perform that well. So I think revenue must be a beat on the Tesla front. But really, Tesla, the share price doesn't move off earnings on the revenue side of it anymore for Tesla. It's all about the EPS. So yeah, it depends how they manage the EPS side of it, and unfortunately, that's probably the side that's probably going to actually move the company when they report earnings. Obviously, we've heard a lot about the semiconductor shortage. I don't know if that will affect Tesla. But yeah, obviously, I think, I'd go at a big punt and say 50% of you guys that watch this video, I reckon, probably have some shares in Tesla. So yeah, we'll see it. We'll see what happens there. That'll definitely be the one that will everyone will be looking at on Monday, and I'll be watching for sure. And potentially, depending what goes on, might be a video worthy a little bit later on the day. And then on Monday on the open, we've got UPS. Obviously, I think FedEx reported earnings. I think their earnings were pretty strong, so you would expect UPS to be decent. General Electric, I think those guys are putting in a little bit of a recovery right now. 3M, I kind of never own that one, but I know a few guys do play that for a little bit of a dividend play. Crocs, Raytheon Technologies, BP on the UK front as well. It's actually a bit busy. I think like Shell are reporting as well. BP and Shell. I think Whitbread are as well. But BP, I think some guys played that one in the one of the drops is like a solid dividend play as well as Shell. So obviously you get some numbers from there, maybe signs of the economy reopening and everything like that. So yeah. Hasbro, Waste Management, funny enough, is if I was ever going to be just a dividend investor where I didn't have to worry about any companies or any stocks, I'd probably own that company, because I wonder if I can just get a stock chart for you very quickly. But if you ever look at the stock chart on like Waste Management, it's just, look at that, it's just such a solid uptrend of a stock. It's such an easy one to own. The only problem is like, if you went on like 18 to 19, for example, it just doesn't do much in a year, depending on what the stock market does. It pretty much performs in line with the SP 500. But the little good thing is you do get a bit of a dividend yield. It's a bit of a solid company, really. If I ever wanted the stock, which I didn't have to worry about, I think these guys could be it. But yeah. So those are all the guys on Tuesday morning. Tuesday after close, you could make an argument that this is the busiest day, but yeah, I mean, this and Wednesday are pretty close. Obviously you got AMD. That's one that I always say that, I say on every video when I talk about AMD, it's a company that I really need to look into, but I just haven't got around to it. I think they should do okay. I think because there's a lot of demand for semiconductors, unless they're struggling to supply them, I guess. But yeah, we'll see what AMD brings out. I mean, if it has a dip, that would be absolutely amazing. Could consider buying that one. Maybe should have bought a few days ago, to be fair, but when it was on that little bit of a dip. But yeah, I always say I'm going to look into it. I never get around to it. The thing is, things just pop up, and for example, someone like Skills. Obviously, Skills was a company that dropped a lot last week. And obviously, managing your positions is the priority before you look into new positions. And like with Skills, I pretty much, like last week, stripped everything back and went through the company like I was a brand new investor. I went through their earnings calls again, and this is the sort of stuff that you actually don't see on like YouTube or even sometimes on Patreon, for example. But like I broke it down. Even after I did all my research, I pretty much made I think it was like a 40-minute video on Skills like last week, talking like my bull thesis, and I ran through my current numbers at these prices. Like last week I spent like a good few hours going through Skills and making sure like, why is this stock gone down so much? Is this company still fundamentally strong? Is it still going to go up in value? And like I say, I went through Skills last week. I shared it all with you on the YouTube side of it. And yeah, I was like, it's still a great opportunity. And just something like that happens, that, that 5 hours that could have been looked into AMD went to make sure that my investment in Skills is still, on a dip, that I was able to buy that dip and still have full confidence in it, So yeah, I mean, back to the point of AMD, it's one that I need to look at some point. Microsoft, yeah, obviously I've got shares in Microsoft. Pinterest, obviously own shares in Pinterest. It'd be interesting to see how they do. It might be the first kind of hint of like, we've got CV numbers creeping out of it, with the user growth, an example, but see where ad revenue is going. But yeah, we'll see what Pinterest is going on at the moment. It's been a little bit of a dip actually. So, if it was to pull earnings out that weren't amazing, could actually be a chance that I actually go buy some more shares in Pinterest. But yeah, we'll see what happens overall. Alphabet, obviously Google, love Google. Visa, a company that I own. Enphase, I know if you guys have invested in this one. If I was actually to pick a solar play, these guys would probably be it. So it'd be interesting to see what numbers they pull out. I think like last time, I can't remember if it was these guys or Solar First. I think one of them dipped massively off earnings last time. But yeah, obviously if them have a dip, they're on a bit of a dip already. But yeah, I think that would be one really interesting one. Starbucks, I always liked Starbucks. It was one of my biggest regrets actually was, I think it was 2 years ago. Starbucks actually had a bit of a dip in the share price, and it was somewhere around like $60 for a while. Can I go? Yeah, I think here. So Starbucks here just like flatlined for like, it did like 4% in nearly 2 years. And I saw Starbucks, and they were paying a bit more of a higher dividend yield at the time than what they are doing right now. And I saw Starbucks, and it was just one of those cases where I was like, I always say this on the channel, like, if a company's reporting profit and revenue that's going up and up and up and up, eventually the share price will move in the right direction. And obviously, like, it was a bit of a patience game with Starbucks for like a good period. It only moved up 1%. And in this period, I was really considering buying shares, because I was like, this company's performing so well, but it's not moving in the share price, and one day it will move up, and I'll also get a good dividend. And I was like, oh, shall I buy it? And I never got around to buying it anyway. And then I looked at it now, and I was like, could have made a good 100% right there. Even when it had this even slump into the $48 range, it would have been really good. So yeah, it would have just been a really safe dividend play, a bit diverse. And yeah, I should have really bought that one. Obviously it's not crazy, 100%, it's not a crazy return, but I think 100% over 2 years isn't awful, and it just diverse the portfolio. And yeah, that's just anyway, that's just a prime example of a stock that didn't do anything, and then obviously it goes up 100% in the next few years. And just thought I'd share that one with you anyway. It would be a good base for a portfolio, as well as with a 138 billion market cap as well. So yeah, but anyway, back onto the earnings. And yeah, we'll jump over to Wednesday. Obviously, we've got Boeing, obviously one that I own, see what they pull out. I think they actually overtook Airbus for the first time for 2 years in the delivery side of it, which was really impressive. I actually never thought they would do that with a lot of the problems they had with the Max 8 and everything like that. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Obviously, Airbus was like the kings for ages, then Boeing took over for so long, and now because of the whole Max 8 situation, Airbus has took back over. But yeah, Shopify one I own. Spotify ones I see getting talked about a lot on the YouTube scene at the moment. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And yeah, there's probably not too much more on that Wednesday open that I'm too fussed about. You could make the argument that Wednesday after close is probably one. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Tuesday's a bigger day, or Wednesday's a bigger day? They're both crazy. But yeah, we've got Apple. Obviously, I'm sure there's a few Apple shareholders in here. Facebook, one that I own. We'll see how they do. I always have confidence in Facebook. It's the one that I would always bank on doing quite well. I say that, they probably do awful. Qualcomm, this is if I was ever to have a 4G play, them guys would be it. Ford, obviously, they've done all right at the moment. They're doing all right. Teledoc, which is the company I've started buying, is very small. So hopefully I don't know what I want with Teledoc. I don't know if I want them to do very good numbers or if I want to see them go down so I can buy more of a position. I'm stuck because it's only a small position. I want to buy a bit more Teledoc, but yeah, we'll see what earnings pull out. Earnings will be a big statement. So that in my opinion, if you were to ask me which one will move the most on earnings, I would go Teledoc. I think there's a lot of sandbagging on guidance, but also I think that one will move a lot. Logitech. That's obviously a good one for like Turtle Beach and Corsair, actually, to be fair. eBay, MGM, Thursday on the Open, Caterpillar, McDonald's, Overstock. I think a few guys play Overstock, Domino's, MasterCard, Ultra. That's a good dividend play. And then Thursday we've got Amazon. Obviously, I've started buying shares in Amazon. Neo. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys are Neo shareholders. You got Twitter. I think like there was something the other day that the two most volatile stocks on earnings are Twitter and I believe it's Tesla. So I think Tesla and Twitter are historically the two companies that move the most off earnings. I think it's them two. So yeah, I mean, actually them two could be one that move quite a bit. But yeah, I think that's what I got told a while ago. Skyworks Solutions. And yeah, that's a good company as well. Actually, I don't know if I got Qualcomm and Skyworks mixed up. I think Skyworks is the good 4G play. I might have just told you a little bit of a lie actually on the last bit. Gilead, Western Digital, and then Friday, ExxonMobil, AbbVie is a cool little dividend play. AstraZeneca, that one's actually sold off. A lot of these vaccine, like Pfizer as well. Pfizer sold off quite a bit. It had a bit of a dividend play. So them two are actually getting quite interesting. I might look into them too. They're actually selling off quite a bit. Chevron, Goodyear, yeah. And that, Friday's a bit more of a chill day, but definitely still interesting ones. I think AbbVie sometimes does move off earnings as well, to be fair. But yeah, that's the big earnings that are coming up next week. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff going on, a lot of big names. I generally think you'll have at least one. I mean, I think what's that? I mean, I must have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. I think I've got 9 companies reporting earnings next week. So yeah, there'll more than likely be at least one video on these companies, because I'm sure one of these companies that I own will move off earnings, good or bad, which will probably be worth a video at some point. So yeah, every day will probably be a video talk about some earnings that moved the last kind of couple of days. But it's crazy, but it's great. It's great as an investor. It's a bit of a nightmare because you're trying to go through all these conference calls and earnings reports, but at the same time, it's great, like I say, because you get these are the times where you can get some amazing dips on companies if you have a decent cash pile, but at the same time, these are the times where what you might have invested into a company for, a few months ago, a few years ago, you see them start coming active in their earnings report, which is great. So yeah, it's amazing times as an investor, and it's a big week, and there's obviously probably the next couple of weeks as well will be a busy one as well after these next few weeks as well anyway. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know any stocks that you're like watching, any stocks that you're hoping dip, any stocks that you own that are reporting. That'd be absolutely amazing. But if you could, smash the like button, and I'll see you on the next video.